application that is our more common detail, which is using Diversi Foam's Certastud product, which is basically their expanded or extruded polystyrene with a furring strip embedded, pre-installed. And so in this detail, we're doing 2 layers of foam. The first layer of foam is 2.5 inches thick of XPS. That leaves a balance of 1.5 inches to the outside. And what that allows us to do is to install our backer around windows and corners and anywhere where we need some sort of structural backing into the foam, where we're not going to have a furring strip. Because as you can see, like as you get to these furring strips, you've got them here in these corners or in the field, but you don't have one in this corner if we end up in that situation. But we've got a corner nailing situation where I've got to put a corner trim board, and then I've got to bring in siding to that. So I've got to have a 2x6 and a 2x8 building up a corner right there, so I have a nailer for my trim and siding. If we use a green treated 2x at that point, they're going to be the same level as the second layer of foam plus the furring strip and its extrusion. So to back up, the Certastud is going to have a furring strip that's a 1/2 inch piece of green treated CDX that'll be embedded 3/8 of an inch. So it's going to stick proud 1/8 of an inch, so that it gives us a venting and drainage plane behind your clapboard. Green treated typically comes out at a thickness of about 1 5/8. So if you apply that Certastud right to the 2.5 inch foam and a green treated 2x flat, the outside surface of your furring strip and your 2x are going to flush out. Does that make sense? Okay. So that allows you to go around and put all your backing in without having to carve foam. Okay. If you're doing a vented cladding system, like let's say vinyl, then we would order the Certastud flush. And so they actually, that's their main product, is a flush installed product. And we're actually now set up to order specially from them this extruded, or this protruded furring strip. The second version, which Habitat's going to be doing, because you guys will have access to insulation from a different source, is that we'll do a surface mounted furring strip. So you have 2 inches of first layer, 2 inches of second layer, and then a 3/4 inch furring strip that'll be applied outboard of that with a screw through the whole thing. Okay. The foam is installed. The first layer of foam gets installed with very minimal fasteners. It's just basically to hold it in place, tape all the seams. The second layer of foam goes up, and now you've got a screwing pattern that you'll be pushing through the furring strip. The furring strips will be 16 inches on center, and then I believe you're 18 inches on your spread, whatever the letter is on the structural.
Sort of about weight of your siding generally.
Yep. So we've specified these for the clapboard or the up to the fiber cement weights. In the case of this detail here, where we ran to a vertical batten, we basically take the insulation and turn it 90 degrees so that our furring strips are now running horizontally, so that we have a nailing contact surface running horizontally. So that looks like that. And then you can see this insulation runs all the way up into the soffit box, so the soffit will come across and hit this here. And so what we're doing here is we're timing this furring strip out so that we can put our J channel there to receive the soffit on. Okay. This is what the inside of the soffit looks like on the outside. Inevitably, you're going to have dings, holes, gaps, cracks. We want to fill those with can foam. So you'll have that you should have can foam on site available. Did I close down that Dropbox? Shoot. Back to that. We'll be using the, I showed you pictures of the 3M 8067 flashing tape at the seams. And then what you're seeing here is a different detail than we're going to be doing on any of this run of projects, but this is a detail that we use when we're doing an aluminum trim detail. And so what this allows us to do is have basically a backing where we can take a break and bend up a piece of aluminum that'll go around this, this detail here. So, let's see. Maybe I have it in the siding. Right there, you can kind of see it. So that window's just got just coil stock basically. The siders came out and bent up all the metal for the windows. And then this is an installation where we're using a fiber cement board. They're using their joint slip here in between and just tacking it back to this furring strip. There's going to be a couple of details like this on the Certastud detail that's a little bit simpler, where we'll have a deck ledger, or we'll have roof step flashing on the front porch, where we're going to just run your typical flashing detail up against the foam, and then we'll run the 3M all-weather up to that. On the Habitat house, we have a different detail because we're going to be 3/4 of an inch away from that foam, or that's too far away to try to span that. So we're going to run, like we talked about in that meeting, we'll run this backer up against that detail, so we have a place to nail that that step flashing and then tape off to, and then we'll run our drainage back behind that, or sorry, up above that, between that last piece of siding. But this would be that deck ledger with just a typical deck ledger flashing and then tape that goes over that. And then this would be your skirt board or your rim band. And then this insulation coming out of the ground effectively just had this fiber mesh attached to it, and then a parge coat as the ground break. But in the case where we'd use a glass liner, you'd want to put that in first before you ran that rim band. This was for a pergola off the back that won't be on this project. Okay. So that's our exterior insulation.